Greetings and salutations, and welcome to
Star Trek with a noob.
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another review of Star Trek with a Noob. So today's episode is This Side of Paradise. It was the 24th episode of the first season of Star Trek. It was written by D.C. Fontana and Jerry Soule, who used the pseudonym Nathan Butler. And it was directed by Rolf Zinsaski. And when it says he used the pseudonym Nathan Butler, usually when authors use pseudonyms, they are usually trying to distance themselves from their projects. So I'm wondering if they didn't really like this episode, the writer. So in the episode, the U.S. Enterprise visits a planet where the inhabitants are under the influence of strange plant life. This episode was also the first time we've seen an episode where it seems like there's a bit of a romance for Spock, which I think was kind of interesting. The cast includes Jill Arlen as Leela Kalama, Frank Overton as Elias Sandoval, and Grant Woods Lee Lieutenant Kilowitz. So, one thing I just realized about this episode is that of the actor Frank Overton, Frank is actually from like my favorite episode of I think The Twilight Zone. If you don't know me, I am actually a huge fan of the original one of The Twilight Zone. He was in the episode the Twilight Zone episode Walking Distance. And he played the character of Gig Young. Gig Young is the father of is Martin Sloan. Actually, the father of Martin Sloan. So yeah, if you have not seen the episode of Walking Distance, I actually highly recommend it. But getting back to Star Trek, Frank Overton, he does a great job in this episode. Although he may seem like he's trying to, the character is just like calm, chill, and just like say, like, officer, no, captain, it's okay. It may seem like a more subdued performance, but in actuality, it kind of works because I guess the metaphor for this episode is, just when it comes to, I guess it's trying to be a drug metaphor. I'm not sure what it's trying to say, except, like when you start a colony, put in the work and also use your emotions, because one way that the crew is able to fight against this force of this plant is by using emotions, which Kirk is able to do after he is left alone, after everyone deserts him, and because they just aren't in control of this plant. And it basically just makes them chill, calm. Basically, I feel like this is a metaphor for weed, I feel like. I could be wrong. But yeah, everyone's calm, chill, they just have no worries. And like I said, I think it's really nice the fact that we get to learn more about Spock, about how at one point when he was in the academy, there was this young woman who really had an interest for him, but, Spock being Spock, he had trouble showing his emotions. But the one thing I suppose that is surprising to me, though, is, since Spock is also part human and Vulcan, like how sometimes really makes me think, like, say, if he is a half breed, Vulcan / human, how exactly isn't there a part of him that makes him think, like, say, even though he's always like, this is most logical or not, how come there's never a moment where he just thinks, like, Captain, we should think about this emotionally, or anything like that? Or perhaps the whole, him having a human mother was probably something from the J.J. Abrams films. I could be wrong. I'm gonna be honest, I saw those movies before I saw the original, before I saw the other Trek films, the original ones. So, yeah, I think this episode is pretty good. I think one of the moments where I feel like this is a standout moment is when Spock is talking to um Leela, and he's just gonna like say, I'm sorry it has to be this way, but this ship is my thing. um it's this place here, if this thing is my hell or something like that. And I actually kind of think it's surprising when Kirk is having to upset Spock. And yeah, it's kind of sad, because they're both friends. I mean, they're not like best friends, but like say. And I kind of feel like at the same time, it feels like 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 in that moment, I feel like William Shatner was actually trying to upset you know. But at the same time, I thought this episode's pretty good. Its acting is pretty good. The cinematography is pretty good. I actually like the moment when we first see this empty shot of the Enterprise, when it's just Kirk all alone and he's just thinking, like, what do I do? And then the plant just shoots him, like, puffs at him. It reminds me of something from Alien, but he's just going, I will go down. I will go down. But, I mean, overall, I thought this actually is a pretty good episode. It gives us some more details on, like, we learn more about Spock, and we also get a bit of a Kirk is having a bit of like a battle, like, with his crew, because he's trying to think, like, come on guys, get over this plant, or things like that. And also that this was Frank Overton's last performance before his death on April 24th, 1967, less than 2 months after the episode first aired. So I bet Frank saw this for episode 5, or probably his family saw it, and and all that. So in all honesty, I think this episode is pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like it. And I also kind of thought the humor was good, especially when, like, say, Scotty is just like, he's just chilling. He's got like a drink in his hand. He's just like, he's got like a piece of like a straw in his mouth, and say, Elias is just going to like say, well, doctor, I think I got a job for you. He's like, what are you talking about? And he's just gonna say like say, I'm a doctor, even though he doesn't say that. So I think you could be a blacksmith or something. And yeah, well, honestly, if you haven't seen this episode, I actually would recommend trying to check it out. So yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of this side of Paradise? Do you think it's good? Do you think it holds up? Put your thoughts and comments down below. Let me know. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.